Hi, it's your girl Raleigh. Okay, I'm looking crazy, but I am here with my natural hair out to do a self-care and chat moment. Yeah, because I've been needing to do my hair for a while now. But I apologize if the lighting's a little weird. I don't have my regular lights on, and what else? I don't know what else I was gonna say. I'm kind of tired, to be honest. But today I'm going to be deep conditioning my hair with the one, the only Shea Moisture deep conditioning mask. And along with that, I will also be adding in, because it's actually in here, this is some leftover for last time, but I'll be adding in some cassia, some aloe vera powder, some olive oil. Usually I don't add olive oil, I add a special oil mixture that I use that was from Curly Proverbs on YouTube. I don't have any more of that oil. And while I'm doing this, I'll be talking about Pose. I pretty much binge watched Pose. I enjoyed it. It was a good show. I wanted to do a more in-depth analysis of this show, and I maybe, you know, like what I did with my Avatar video where I took lessons from the show and applied them to my real life. No, I just couldn't really think of anything, and I honestly just want to have a chatty video where I talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about the show. I know it's simple, it's basic, I'm sorry, I apologize, but that's all I can think of right now. It's how much I have right now. It's not much at all. I almost always overestimate how much I need. I loved the show. It really gave like an inside look into the ballroom culture. We're gonna start with our first section. Should I start with the front? No, I'm actually gonna start with the back. This is a big section, but I only like working in 4 sections. Any more than that, and I feel like I'm starting to go a little crazy. So what I did is I washed my hair with co-wash by, I can't remember who, conditioned it with Care. And the reason I don't usually condition and deep condition, because to me it just seems kind of pointless. Ooh, length, sis. But anyway, it seems just kind of pointless. But I did it this time just to detangle beforehand so I wouldn't have to do so much tangling. Anyway, I really enjoyed the show. It gave an inside look into ballroom culture. That was nice because, you know, it's not really something that I was all that familiar with. I was kind of, you know, familiar with it. I knew about voguing and, you know, doing dips. I didn't know about like house mothers and stuff of that nature. And I didn't really know how big of a part that the trans community played in ballroom culture. Also, question, the show Pose didn't have any lesbians in it, I don't think. I don't remember seeing any lesbians. Now, is that because the show chose to highlight mostly transgendered and gay men's stories, or do lesbians, are they just not really a big part of the ballroom culture? Are they not really that involved with that culture? That's just something that I personally wondered about the show. I was like, interesting. I also really enjoyed the strong platonic relationships between people in the show. In general, I usually tend to enjoy platonic relationships in shows over the romantic ones, and that was definitely true of this. I mean, I think Ricky and Damon, I think they were cute together, and Angel and Poppy are cute together, but I feel like the relationship between Blanca, the house mother, and her children was really beautiful. I really liked and enjoyed that relationship. I enjoyed Blanca's relationship with her house mother, and that really was a dynamic relationship. They went through a lot of twists and turns, and most of all, Pretel and Blanca's relationship with each other and how they just really loved and supported each other. And that's something that I liked about the show, is it highlighted the fact that even though, you know, it's all about the tea and the shade and the drama in the ballroom, at the end of the day, the people really do care about each other and look out for each other and have each other's backs, and I really like that. I'm gonna leave my least favorite thing about the show to the end, so you have to wait to see what I hated about the show. I'm joking. There was a lot of singing in season 2. Like, this is a very minor criticism, and I don't even know if it's a criticism really. I was just like, this is coming off low-key musical musical-ish. Like it was getting kind of like which ties into my next thing that was just kind of like, whoa there, okay. And a lot of my criticism and opinions about the show is about season 2, because I binge watched season 1 and season 2, but most of what I remember is from season 2. It took on this like different style of almost magical realism, I think is what you would call it, especially with Candy's death. I was like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? It's just tonally, it like changed, and I was very confused. I was like, okay, so we're singing and dancing like we're in a musical now, and we're also like having these magical realism moments. Okay. And it's not that that's bad, I just don't remember that in the first season. Maybe that happened, maybe I just forgot. I feel like every single strand of my hair is a single strand knot. Like, I would have to cut off all my fucking hair to get rid of all the single strand knots. I feel like the ends are really thin and they're just not really all that healthy, and I just kind of want to cut them off. The outfits. Okay, so the outfits in season 2, that is something that became even more iconic. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like the outfits became even wilder in season 2 than they were in season 1, and I loved it. I was all about the amazing outfits. One that stood out was the night that Elektra got completely dragged for filth for not coming out to that protest, that ACT UP protest. But I have to say that Marie, I think it was Marie Antoinette, and they had the guillotine and everything. Oh my god. Like, are you kidding me? That was freaking epic. The characters became less likable to me in season 2. I just wasn't feeling them as hard. You know, something about Angel's story in the first season, I just felt like she was a very likable character. But in the second season, I can't really name like a specific thing that she did to make her, well, yeah, I actually can name a specific thing that she did to make her not as likable. That was lying about taking drugs and making Ricky look like he was the liar, like he was just some petty ass liar. That really was off-putting to me. Like, sis really lied on Ricky's name. She was like, yeah, he's lying, I don't take drugs. Like, meanwhile, sis is in the back snuffing cocaine. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that really took a blow to Angel's character to me. And I don't know, her just moving out, to me that wasn't like enough of a, I guess she did own up to it and confess that she lied, but I don't know, like I feel like it wasn't like enough of a, like, you know, character development, or like I grew, I learned from this, I developed, like. And I don't think she ever did she apologize to Ricky? I don't remember. It was just very upsetting. Upset me and the homegirls, okay? I just felt like there was something off. Like, I wasn't really connecting with the characters the second season like I did the first. Elektra improved in character. I feel like Elektra became more iconic. By the end of it, I feel like she was, you know, nicer, but she wasn't too softy. Praytel and Ricky, oh my gosh. Look, it will take me a long time to become comfortable with that relationship, and I was cringing literally throughout their entire hookup scene. Like, it was just so uncomfortable to watch. And for me, it's not, oh my god, the bags underneath my eyes are insane, but for me, it's not really the age gap that's the problem. It's the relationship prior to being in a romantic relationship that's kind of like, ooh, like, you know, it's kind of weird. I don't know, I feel like if I was a mentor to someone, I would not feel comfortable then dating that someone. He was like a very much so a mentor to Ricky and a father-like figure. So for him to out of nowhere to be like, oh yeah, I like you now, especially right after Ricky got his results back and found out that he was HIV positive. Like, he's going through something right now and maybe not in the best state to make decisions like that, but the show kind of played it off as, yes, this is a genuine love and relationship, so, you know, I'm gonna try and, you know, get with it. And like Praytel said many of times, they're both two grown consenting adults, so technically there's not really a problem with it, but it did make me uncomfy. I was just like, this is awkward. I don't know if I'll be Team Ricky and Pray Tell anytime soon. I like the drags. I do. I like how they dragged each other. Like it was just iconic. Especially Elektra. Oh my goodness. Her energy, how she would read people for filth. Iconic. We love to see it. And now, for the least favorite thing about the entire show for me. And that was, this one's a little bit more of a serious one. Let me twist this up and start the next section and then I'll start talking. I feel like the show promoted the angry black woman stereotype. Now let me explain. The character Candy is the one person in particular that I'm thinking of, but even kind of with Elektra. And the whole show, there are only like really 3 dark-skinned black women. Honestly, if they didn't tell me, you know, that Blanca was Dominican and that Angel was Dominican, or one of those places where it's like, are they black? Are they not black? Oh, I think they said Angel was Puerto Rican. If they didn't tell me that Angel was Puerto Rican and they didn't tell me that Blanca was Dominican or whatever, I would have never guessed. I would have just thought they were black women. But nevertheless, they are lighter than some of their counterparts like Elektra and Candy. Out of the whole show, like I was saying, there's 3 darker skinned black women: Elektra, Candy, and then Damon's dance instructor. For the 2 out of the 3, I feel like they were getting kind of wild with Candy and Elektra. Like Elektra to me was kind of acting outside of her character. Like Elektra is definitely someone who will drag you for filth. She will make you cry, but her throwing tables, like, I don't know, like, to me, she's kind of classy. Like, she's too bougie for that. Like, to me, she wouldn't really be the type to throw a table. And Candy, I did not like what they did with her character. Candy was not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she was relatable and you felt for her in that first season. But the second season, what they did with her character just, what? Like, it really, they just made her kind of like this angry black girl and then killed her off. Let me explain how the first season she was relatable and she made sense, but the second season she did not. Okay, the first season, she wanted to walk the body category where it's all about being voluptuous and like all the curvy girls were walking. But Candy felt incredibly insecure about her body and she wanted, you know, to be appreciated for her body too. It's a relatable narrative. Her actions had a motive behind it that made sense. So she tried to walk the category, they dragged, clowned her, and yeah, that was that. And then she took action. She changed her body because she was insecure about it. Didn't do it in the smartest way. Went to someone who was not reputable, suffered from bruises, and she ended up passing out because whatever she got inserted into her body shouldn't have probably been there. BTW, I found out that Brazilian butt lifts are actually really dangerous. If you don't get them done right, it's actually a surgery that you can die from. It was relatable. It was a moment where you could understand Candy's character. You felt for Candy's character and it added to her character. It really developed her character a little bit more and flushed out her character instead of making it kind of like a flat, boring background character. But the second season, it's kind of like they just took Candy wanting to walk in categories that she's not suitable for, and they just ran with it. But they didn't give her any motive that made any type of sense. And then they had her act out in a very irrational way that just didn't really make any sense because, like I said, she had no motive to back why she wanted to walk these categories. Like the voguing category, for instance. Why does Candy want to walk the voguing category? She has no motive to. It's not like she has this backstory where she always wanted to be a great dancer, but she was just so uncoordinated and she failed in dance school, and that's why she wants to succeed in walking the voguing category and get the praise of her peers. Like, that would make sense. You know, it's far-fetched, it's kind of ridiculous, but at least it's a motive and it would make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense why she wants this so bad. But she kept on wanting to walk categories. categories that didn't make sense. And then when people rightfully clowned her for it because it didn't make sense, she would act out and dead ass pulled a hammer on someone, was trying to beat people's fucking skulls in for not being able to walk that category, that she had no motive. Like, the writers gave her no motive to even want to walk in the first place. So it's just like, this makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It just makes Candy look like this angry asshole. And it just doesn't even make sense for her character. And it also made her look kind of like a fool. I feel like they made a complete fool of her before killing her off. They made her out to be like this kind of dim-witted, dumb character who, you know, is always trying to start mess and cause problems and walk in categories that she's not qualified for. Like, did y'all have to make a fool out of her before you killed her? This part is so tangled. Another thing that I just really I did not like, okay, so Preytel has episodes, he starts hallucinating. Now, you could argue that this isn't really Candy. This is the image of Candy that he has in his head. This is how he perceives Candy. This is conversations that he thinks Candy would have, not necessarily a reflection of Candy's actual character. But, okay, hold on. In his hallucinations, he was pretty much dreaming or hallucinating that Candy was trying to convince him to join him in the afterlife and that he should just give up and die. Let the illness take him over and die. And that's pretty wicked. Like, that's pretty evil. Like, and I don't think Candy was an evil person. I don't think Candy would want that for Preytel. As much as he dragged her, as poorly as Preytel treated her, because he really did. I mean, like, those drags were kind of a bit much. Like, I get it, a drag is a drag, and especially in the Black community, we love to tease and drag and clown people, but he was a little harsh. He wasn't a little harsh, he was very harsh with Candy, especially in those final 2 episodes. Like I said, they really made a fool out of her, and I just feel like it wasn't appropriate or necessary. Here's my thing, it doesn't really make sense because it isn't consistent with Preytel's ideas of Candy and how he feels about Candy, because we're led to believe that he has his what would you call, not conclusion, he has his moment with Candy where he talks with her. I mean, technically this wasn't really Candy, this was after she died, and they were all kind of, you know, grieving the loss of Candy. The conversation that Preytel had with Candy after she died was essentially she forgave him. And I see that as, because this is just all in their heads. This is them grieving. This is their process of grieving, and it's in their heads. It's not like Candy's really there. Through his grieving process, he was able to come to terms with the fact that, yeah, maybe he mistreated Candy, but Candy forgiving him is really him forgiving himself for treating Candy like shit, because he can't really move on with his life, and he can't, you know, properly go through all the process of grieving, the entire grieving process, until he forgives himself for the way that he treated Candy while she was alive. And on top of that, he did the lip syncing category, which Candy wanted a lip syncing category, which is another thing. Why did Candy want a lip syncing category that bad? Like, I just really wish they put more effort into developing Candy's character in the second part of the season. Started a lip syncing category in tribute to Candy herself, named it after her, I'm pretty sure, so you would believe, that would have you believing that, you know, whatever he's gone through with Candy, that relationship has resolved itself and he's on good terms with Candy's death. So it then does not make sense for him to have hallucinations of Candy coming to him and pretty much reliving that guilt again. Maybe that's what it was, but I feel like if so, it wasn't really explained or showed that well that he's reliving that guilt, maybe, or maybe he still really hasn't gotten over the guilt of how he treated Candy. Candy continued to appear to other characters. Candy's character, how they executed death, I was not really feeling it. I just feel like she could have died in more pride and like in not like her actual literal death. Her actual literal death is a real fucking thing. Like, that is an unfortunate truth of life. But the way that they handled how the characters treated her before her death and how they executed visions of Candy, we'll call it that, after her death was very questionable to me. Didn't particularly like Candy's character development, and didn't really like how she just became the angry black woman trope. And yeah, I didn't really care for that at all. And that, the show was really good. I feel like the second season wasn't as strong as the first season. I am looking forward to the third season. I will definitely watch it. Unfortunately, I heard that they might not be able to do the ballroom scenes as they usually would because of COVID-19. They just can't film with, you know, all these damn people in the same room because that's a risk. And there may be less romance scenes, but like I said, I'm not big on romance. I don't really care too much about those types of things in shows. I prefer actually platonic relationships, so I'm not too hurt by that. It still does suck that they're not going to be able to not maybe necessarily tell the narrative that they wanted to tell because of this dumbass pandemic. Other than that, that's how I felt about Pose. It was a good show, it was a good watch, very entertaining. Pretty wholesome. It definitely highlighted a lot of things in the community and a lot of the struggles of transgendered people. Some moments it was very serious. It wasn't a light show at all. I cried multiple times. Something to remember in our current day and times is that, you know, especially in the Black community, Black lives cannot matter if Black trans lives don't matter. So, you know, make sure that when we're chanting this stuff, we're looking out for all type of Black lives. Quick side note, I'm just so much more happy with my YouTube channel now that I'm doing more videos like this. I hope that somebody likes these videos. Yeah, it's just nice to just sit down and kind of chat with you guys. I am going to put my bonnet dryer, yeah, is that what it's called? I'm gonna use that to deep condition my hair with heat because I always do that. I'm low porosity, and I do it for about an hour and then I'll wash it out and then I'll do the lock method. But I'm done with this video for today. Yay! If you guys want to see more videos from me doing my natural hair, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'd be glad to do it for you. Yeah, bye guys, see you next time.